1. Good day. Things begin slowly in Starport Artemis, as they always do. The city hasn't been a genuine military installation since the ceasefire and the 3-year-old birth of the planetary security zone between the Ascendant Bloc and the rapidly shattering League. But the thousands of demobbed soldiers, aerospace pilots, art suit drivers, and Mac jocks that have filled its streets make it hard to tell the difference. This swarm of new arrivals, Roys and Innies alike, have given it a polyglot of names: Bugsville, Finney Flight, Grunts Beach, Angerberg. But to all the women of a certain background that call Port Art home, like the two in Central Housing Block 38A, it will always bear a different moniker: Dogtown. And, just like any other dog born, bred, chosen, or broken, Lena Harken wakes up before everyone else, eager as punch to make everything go just right. Good morning, Coyote. A major's voice, even dimmed by sleep, is rough but warm, just like the first night it hit Lena's eardrums and relit her dead and silent world. Major, retired. Renee Douglas heads barefoot and nightgown clad into their cozy, well-lit kitchen, just as her pilot neatly snaps off the gas stove and plates a pile of foam and rust, a fluffy mix of fried eggs, shredded potatoes, sausage rounds, and green onions that most block veterans insist is the national dish. Lena's eaten it at least 10 times a month for the past decade. And why disagree? The former scavenger of the Captain Salient yips loudly, leaps a few inches into the air, and comes down at attention, back braced and eyes boring holes into the beige plaster wall. But not a spot of the morning repast is lost. The collar at Lena's throat, well-capped olive-drab leather, winks in the morning sun as light catches on the bronze oak leaf and embossed 784 that mark her as a genuine block watchdog, and her major's truly beloved pet. You know that you don't have to do that, Lena. Not for me. Coyote's eyes remain fixed on the middle distance, and her legs continue to lightly tremble until a patient sigh escapes her wife's throat. At ease, pup. With the smooth, formal movement of an experienced aide-de-camp, Coyote drops into action, pulling away the fine scrolled wooden chair at the head of their small, square, high-leg table and laying one massive plate of steaming breakfast before her major. If she buries herself in the task, in the routine, she won't have to look at the woman she owes her life. If she doesn't look at her, Renee won't know she's feeling like a failure. An outstretched hand catches the first tear and whips it away as it trickles down Lena's face. Sit down, girl. For me, sit down and eat. Lena drops gratefully into the seat beside Renee's, not even protesting as her wife slides one arm around her and uses the other to drag the pilot's noticeably smaller portion in front of the two of them. The steel rim of the pilot's bowl grins softly on the stone tabletop, and the laser-cut stencil, Coyote, is gently turned to face its namesake. Without a hint of jest or anger, Renee splits half of the amount of food off her overloaded plate and carefully pours it atop her pilot's meager ration, measuring with a critical eye until each helping is identical. Coyote's mouth drops open to protest, but the well-muscled arm, still wrapped around her waist, squeezes gently and the pilot shivers, then relaxes, eyes slightly fuzzy. Dig in, pilot. I love you. Coyote's hands fly to the offered fork and she begins to messily inhale the delicious mix of meat, potato flecks, and rich egg yolk, table manners never being seen as an absolute must for any candidate rehabbed via Project Guinea Ford. A major's hand is entwined in hers, but Renee's demeanor could not be more different from her wife's. It is slow and measured, savoring every bit as if she can taste the love in every micron of home cooking. And consciously licking her chops, Coyote gingerly pushes her spit-shine bowl aside and leans into her major's shoulder, letting her eyes flutter lazily open and close. "I'm sorry, Major." The words are soft as a moth's wing, hold all the weight of a dead star. The response they prompt is warm, firm, and forgiving. "You've done nothing wrong, pup." It's like when I jump at fireworks, the side effects of waking up in a peaceful world. Coyote nods in assent. The minutes pass quietly along, and the hands and arms of Major and Watchdog remain affectionately wrapped around one another. Coyote's mind is quiet, her heart full. "All right, pup, up we get. First duty." "First duty, Major." Back during the fighting, the blood, the brutal, gory two-step of armored infantry, and mouse hole ambush, and chest mines, and point-blank recoils rounds. The first duty, engraved on every surviving watchdog's heart and mind, was to resist and destroy any hound program by any means necessary, to burn the rotten heart out of the infected body of empire, and claim what little real strength remained to forge a better world, to prove a dog can be a woman again. Now it's something else. Lena scrubs and stacks the few remaining dishes as she ruminates. Just beside her, Renee whips away spots of water and returns each fork and bowl and pan to its proper place. Every so often, their shoulders or hands touch as they work, and more often than not, remain warmingly resting until the next small motion demands parting. To the outside eye of an observer, one who knew their past, it would be beyond absurd, and Coyote bites back a bitter laugh as she considers it. A decorated infantry officer, a mother to her women, first into every breach and vanguard, and the scavenger brute that ripped through the finest infantry of the League Imperial, like so many paper dolls at her command, plucked from a channel house of failed hounds and fuck-ups and reforged into something new. They should be riding the spaceways as pirate queens, or being thrown into hot zones to eviscerate royalist holdouts, not this. Not playing house, going to the park to feed koi, stepping out to concerts, visiting the outer zone markets with their heavy vans of hydroponic produce. Why do they deserve a break? Why even play at such a life when Coyote's existence was shaped around a system that set the only value of a scared, lonely man in an ill-fitting skin, her only shot at truth, painlessness, and a body she can live in, is alive as a weapon that drools. Because, her mind supplies, deserving has nothing to do with it. This is simply her duty. Because now, in the soft, thrumming chaos of the kinder present she and her major fought for, the first duty is a different one. Live, because life itself is resistance. Never let the bastards grind you down. Today, she knows, is going to be a good day. Two, bad dog. Lena wakes up with a gurgling, paralytic scream to a black and silent world, and the gun is in her mouth. Koyo, freak! She shocks you when you don't use your name. After all, only ungrateful little mutts throw away the name she gave them. Freak can feel it. Freak's tongue is dead and heavy, and in the dream the gun was long and cool and shining, and her smile was full of arrogant triumph, and she could feel the tip of the barrel on her teeth, clacking like a liar's dice as she forced it down her freak's throat, and she can't move her tongue. Something is blocking it. She can't move at all. That can mean only one thing. The gun is in her mouth, and she is here again. Words jumble past, smoky and distorted. Freak can see or speak or move or hear. The voice that speaks them is first hazy with sleep, then fearful, and something like controlled. Hands touch Freak's face and shoulders and arms and neck. But they are not her hands, because her hands are holding the gun that is in her mouth. Freak is not made for such hands. She's made for her, and she holds the gun, and the gun is in Freak's mouth, ready to fire. Freak's heart rate speeds up, and she foolishly tries to swallow down her fear. Her teeth click against something, the barrel. It must be the barrel, because she is here and the gun is in her mouth, which would only happen if she was here, because... Could you hear her? This attack for... More words that are not hers. Because they are not hers, they do not matter, even though Freak's mind supplies, and the sort of fever bright rationality deserved for the sick and the dying in the moment of greatest extremity. She has been dead for almost 10 years. Freak watched her die, but now, in the moment, death holds no dominion, and the gun, oh God, the gun is in her mouth, the gun is in her mouth. She has to stay still or she will know, because she is back, she couldn't stay dead, because how can a freak kill a demon and a god, a fallen angel? How can you kill her when she is inside your head, inside the head of her freak? Because you can change your name and your body and your duties and who you swear your soul to, but she knows her own, who her hands have made, and that means that the gun is in your mouth and she will pull the trigger if you move, so do not move, do not breathe, do not scream, for your God has found you. She is angry. CCA 784. Heal. Breathe. The words are flat and stern, spoken with not even a tremble through tear-streaked lips. It is a parade ground voice, the commander's voice, the voice of a woman who crawled out of the bloody hole that used to be a subversive block field hospital and gutted the Blue Blood League general who'd ordered it bombed with all the efficiency, coolness, and satisfaction of cleaning a large-mouthed bass. CCA 784's frozen body slows. Her mind locks, then begins to turn a slower orbit. Her mouth, empty. It was always empty, hangs open. Her racing heart and shuddering lungs begin to rise and fall in unison with the quiet, steady 4 count that fills 784's ears. The major's count. Good girl, 784. What's your real name? Coyote pauses, mind slow and syrupy and warm beneath the layers of conditioning that refilled the shell holes that leak neural rewire programs had punched through her brain conditioning that gives her the answer her mind can't quite supply on its own. Lena, Major. Lena and my friends who love me call me Coyote. A soft, slightly hairy chuckle. That's right, bub. Present arms. Before she even thinks, but why would she need to? Coyote slides out of bed, dropping into a formal kneel, legs spread wide, palms up across them, head tilted up to look her Major in the eye and show just what an attentive dog 784 is. With infinite care that brings tears to Coyote's eyes, an olive drab muzzle with an unusual respirator integrated into its long snout is carefully fitted to her head by softly shaking hands. Coyote pulls in a grateful breath, feeling the aerosolized medications hit her system and letting her muscles relax. Suddenly, all her energy is gone and she just wants to sleep. Stay with me, 784. Breathe in, then out. Let the stuff work. It's more thorough than your pills were. At ease, pilot. Coyote 784 closes her eyes and slumps like a landslide, going limp as her eyes flutter shut and her breath rushes away in an explosive sigh. Her Major's hands are there to catch her, gently ruffle her hair, then pull off her sweat-soaked nightgown and hurl it into a corner. Nude and clammy, the pilot's eyes continue to flicker as her breathing slows and goosebumps break out across her pale skin. She barely registers as a pair of tastefully frilled olive drab bloomers and a matching cotton shirt are drawn up over her nakedness, or as the warm hands that have been playing over her body wipe away tears, not all from 784's eyes. All done, Lena. Good, good dog. Said Pickets. Swaying slightly, Cody stumbles to her feet, cradled at the shoulders by her major's arm. Meekly, almost bashfully, the hound crawls back into bed, curling up into a loose ball that makes her wife's heart ache. For a moment, Coyote is alone again and confused. The bed is huge and empty, cooling silently in the midnight air. Then, the last little part of Lena's mind, free from the languid warmth of trance, offers the only answer she will ever need. A hand, clenched oddly to resemble a paw, snakes its way from the protective piling of sheet and quilt and comforter and rests on the leg of Major Rene Douglas, war hero, expert academic, author, and wife. Major Rene Douglas, who is crying like a gut-shot beast crawling home to die as she sits ramrod straight atop a marriage bed, staring at where an empty holster hangs over her battered officer's greatcoat. Renee, a woman who loves her wife more than anything, who needs someone to tell her that using the same tools as the monster that broke her Lena to the yoke does not make her one, would never make her one. Thank you, Major. Thank you for being mine and letting me be yours, for protecting your watchdog. Thank you for doing your duty. Coyote has, quite on her own, pulled Major Rene Douglas, the winner of 1,000 brutal knife and pistol urban brawls, down into bed and curled protectively across her lap. The sob of joy, full of all the sense of luck and hope, and the sweet strain of knowing you are undeserving of the love that others bear you, floats away from the Major's lips as Coyote's muzzle presses against them. Good night, Renee. I love you. The last thing each woman sees before sleep takes her is the look of adoration on her wife's face and the quiet, fierce devotion in her eyes. Today was a bad day. There will be more. But tomorrow will be a good day, and it's good to be alive to see it.